Hi, meteorologist Tony Petrarca on the Pinpoint 12 Forecast Center, wrapping up a pretty wild spring-like storm, especially this afternoon. Soaking rain, strong wind gusts. That storm, as of this recording at 7:30 this evening, is pretty much pulled out. We can take a look back and also a look ahead. But the peak wind gusts today, most locations coming in anywhere between 50 and almost 65 miles per hour. Now, the Blue Hill Observatory, that's in Milton, Massachusetts, 83 mile per hour gusts, but that's at an elevation of 650 feet. So that's how strong the wind was blowing at that level. But can mimic it light in Warwick, a 64 mile an hour gust, Fall River 65, Block Island mid-50s, as well as Cumberland and Green Airport just shy of 50. And these winds were strong enough to cause some power outages and some damage to tree limbs and power lines. That is pretty much gone. The high wind warning has been discontinued. Rainfall amounts today, pretty much what we were thinking. We talked about this last night, anywhere from 1.5 inches to about 2.5 inches of rain. Problem, a lot of this falling over a short period of time and falling on ground that was already frozen, so the water had nowhere to go but to run off into the streets and rivers and streams. Had a lot of street flooding. And even though the rain is gone, still some standing water. At last check, about an hour ago, Fletcher Ave in Cranston still had a lot of water on it. So some roads that have standing water, it'll take a little bit of time for it to recede. So the rain is gone, but some streets are still flooded, but most are fine. Speaking of the roads, we're going to keep an eye on the temperatures. The roads obviously are wet, and later tonight into early tomorrow morning as we get down to freezing, there may be some issues with patchy black ice. So that's something that we'll watch closely, the temperature overnight. But improving weather for tonight. And looking at, the rain pretty much has come to an end. River flood warnings continue for some of the smaller rivers. I'll show you that in just a second. But, long after the rain ends, you get a lot of runoff in some rivers. So, we'll keep an eye on that. The flood watch until 1 o'clock in the morning. Even though the rain is gone, still some standing water on area roads. And again, watching here for some potential for some black ice overnight and into early tomorrow morning. Back watching rivers and streams, and the flood warnings are for, really we're watching all rivers, but it's the smaller ones. The Patuxent, the Pawcatuck, and the Wood River, they have flood warnings, these three rivers right here, for minor flooding. The Pecasset doesn't have a flood warning, but we'll watch those water levels very closely. So a lot of times, the rain comes to an end, but you still get runoff that comes into the river basin. Long after the rain ends, these waters can still rise. Now, we're not expecting major flooding, but minor flooding on the Patuxent, Pawcatuck, and the Wood River. High wind advisories, the map is blank, so they've been discontinued. They're no longer in effect. Now, these are the temperatures as of 7:30 this evening, and you see we're still in the 50s right now. But there is colder air off to our west. In fact, out towards western Connecticut, the temperature is already near freezing. So some of this colder air will pour in during the overnight. It won't be a rapid flash freeze like we had over the weekend, but the road may not dry out in time, and the net result will be some moisture, perhaps freezing up into some black ice. So improving weather on the way. Cooler weather, colder weather later tonight through Friday into the weekend. Nothing extreme, but it will turn cooler. And looking way ahead, a lot of our computer guidance is still pointing to really an outbreak of some pretty cold air later next week. Bitterly cold. It's around the late Wednesday, Thursday time frame of next week. Just keep that kind of tucked away. That perhaps a real shot of some frigid air making a return here later next week. You see the storm pulling away, the bulk of the rain now moving across down East Maine. So the forecast this evening shows that rain pulling well offshore and drier westerly winds taking over, and the skies clearing out. I go walk you through it hour by hour on the forecast starting off this evening, and take note of how the temperatures start to drop off as we get towards tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. in the upper 20s, so there may be some icy spots. But otherwise, a sunny, brisk, and colder day. Not extreme, but we'll top out in the middle to upper 30s, some sunshine. Watch what happens late day. This little blip of white and blue, a cold front coming through, may produce a quick 10-minute snow shower and then gone. And then this sets the stage for much colder weather coming up for later Friday night into Saturday. Again, nothing extreme, but it will turn cooler and colder over the weekend. So forecast for tomorrow morning, sunny, colder, and dry. Watch for some icy spots. Temperatures starting off in the upper 20s to low 30s. The afternoon, not bad. Could be a passing snow shower late in the day, peaking briefly upper 30s to around 40, and then falling back to the mid 30s later in the afternoon. All right, 7-day forecast. Saturday it's a decent day. It's a little chilly. You get temperatures that'll be in the upper 20s to lower 30s. Monday partly cloudy, not quite as chilly at 41. Tuesday, that looks more and more like a snow changing to rain, so not too concerned about that being all snow. In fact, 42. It's later Wednesday night, and look at the temperature by Thursday. I mean, the high only 15. The low temperatures may be close to 0. So again, a lot of our long-range guidance indicating a real big outbreak of colder weather towards the end of the week. So in a nutshell, the storm is gone. Still some standing water on some roads, some localized flooding, even though the rain has ended, and some of these smaller rivers and streams, still some rising water, so minor flooding on the Patuxent, the Pawcatuck, and the Wood River. Another update tonight on Fox Providence at 10 o'clock, and again at 11 o'clock on WPRI Channel 12. We'll see you then, and thanks for logging in.